희망이 있는 곳엔 반드시 시련이 있네. 희망이 있는 곳엔 반드시 시련이 있네. 희망이 있는 곳엔 yeah, yeah. 희망이 있는 곳엔 yeah, yeah.
Hello everyone, I am Lillymu 961 and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far. A little while ago, I wore myself out ranting about Dark Flame, the fourth installment of Alyson Noël's Immortals series. And because I had so much to say, I was forced to break the review down into two parts. If you're watching this and thinking, what on earth is this lady going on about? Then you probably haven't seen part 1 of this review, and I would highly advise you to watch that first before diving into this video, because I am in the process of spoiling the entirety of Dark Flame so that no one will ever touch it again. As stated in the previous video, the harsh nature of this review is not meant to offend those who enjoy this book or the author. I am simply stating my opinion. Once more, if you have not seen the first part of this review, stop watching this video now. This is your final warning. From here on out, there will be spoilers on top of spoilers. Part 1 has a spoiler-free introduction that includes a very short review of my thoughts and feelings before diving into spoiler territory for those who are interested in picking up the 4th novel in this series. For everyone else, let's pick up where we left off last time. This book does something that most stories shouldn't do. You know the rule. Show, don't tell. This book breaks that rule in a rather unique way. Events will jump around sporadically without showing what happened in between one event to another, which will prompt the audience to feel like there are chapters missing from the narrative before going on to explain detail for detail what happened in the most boring way possible. The best example of this takes place at the end of chapter 21 and the beginning of chapter 22. Just before the events of chapter 21, Ever and Damon have a huge fight. The breakup type of fight, where Damon is uselessly trying to figure out what's up with his girlfriend, while Ever is physically unable to tell him what's going on because of the curse she is under. She repeatedly tells him that the only place where she is free to speak is Summerland, and keeps begging him to go there with her so she can spill the beans on everything. Unfortunately for Ever, Damon refuses while accusing her of being addicted to magic, so she storms off angrily, and then thanks to some help from Jude, she is able to use magic to try and undo the spell binding her to Roman. At the end of chapter 21, Ever is all, "Success!" And then the chapter ends. Chapter 22 begins with Damon trying to surprise Ever for her birthday. When did you guys work things out? You were pretty much broken up like 10 minutes ago. Did I miss something? Ever then waits until after Damon has shown her his surprise for her birthday that she got in over her head with the magic stuff and accidentally bound herself to Roman to the point where she had this obsessive attraction to him. Seriously, how did you two work this out before the confession? I know I missed, is there a chapter missing in this book? I have the UK version of this book. Is there like a extra chapter in the US version that I am just unaware of at this point? How did you guys work this out? I do not get this. There is information missing and it is driving me crazy. You see? Problem. For this particular section, I am going to delve into some darker topics, so be warned that there will be mentions of suicide in this particular section. So if you have a sensitivity to that or things of that nature, you may want to skip this part of the video. After a particularly horrifying moment in which Ever loses herself to the obsession that she has for Roman, she runs to Summerland and contemplates crossing the bridge. In this universe, the bridge allows lingering spirits to cross into the afterlife. Ever considers crossing to see what will happen, even though in the back of her mind she already knows that going across the bridge could lead her to the Shadowland, the place where immortals go when they die. But by that point, she is almost beyond the point of caring. The main thing that she wants now is to see her family. She doesn't want to see Damon. She doesn't want to return to the Earth plane where the binding spell takes over all her thoughts and actions either. At this point, she is consumed by despair. In this universe, crossing that bridge while alive is the equivalent of suicide. She narrates it in this way, saying, "I'm all out of options. I've no idea where to turn. And Damon, well, Damon can't save me. Can't spend the next 100 years saving me from myself. I've sunk so deep, fallen so far. There's no getting up. No way I can head back to the Earth plane and risk all that." Whenever hits this point, this low point where she feels like she just can't go on, Jude is the one that stops her. He saves her from going across the bridge. She confides to him about everything that's been going on, and he's the one that takes initiative to help her because ultimately he wants her to be happy regardless of the fact that she's chosen Damon. Even though Jude is forgettable as a character and a moron for not reporting this woman for stabbing him, he has shown that he wants what is best for Ever, and he's also shown that he is capable of protecting her and that he will sacrifice what he wants for her benefit. With Jude, Ever doesn't have to do everything by herself. There's a lot more between Ever and Jude than just attraction. There's a friendship there. They share a connection because they've been through similar things and because of the psychic abilities that they both have. They tease each other and have legitimate fun just hanging out together. They don't feel like two people who are worlds apart. And also, Ever is honest with Jude pretty much all the time. She always opens up to him before opening up to Damon. Ever and Jude have no secrets between them, while Ever keeps just about everything from Damon in this book until the last chapter. At Ever's darkest moment, when she did not want to live anymore, Jude was the one to give her the encouragement she needed to keep going. So why? Why is she still with Damon? I really don't get it. Despite being a couple seconds away from suicide moments before Jude steps in and stops her, Ever just says to him that she wasn't going to do it because she could never abandon Damon after all the things he had done for her. That's not what the narration from just like a page earlier suggests. Plus, what exactly has Damon done for her? Let's list it, shall we? Damon brought her back to life, then left her while the paramedics rushed her to the hospital and patched her up. While she's at the hospital painfully recovering, she discovers that she can see the ghost of her dead sister, that she can read minds, see auras, and see the life story of anyone who touches her, no matter how brief that touch might be. She gains these abilities and is left to deal with them without any guidance for a very long while. When Damon shows up, it is only to woo her rather than help her deal with the abilities she doesn't understand. He would wait to intervene when Ever was in danger from Drina. This forced Ever to kill Drina out of self-defense, which she felt guilty about. At the beginning of the second book, he's pressuring her for sex and gets upset when Ever refuses. Of course, Ever, poor girl, his mind tricks get to her and she's like, okay, sure. It's only because of Roman's scheming that Damon hasn't gotten the only thing he actually wants from her. And the worst part about this is that Damon acts like he's so in love with her that he would just do anything for her. But anytime they have a disagreement, he disregards most of what she says. He gives her thoughts and feelings very little credence unless it suits him, and he does nothing to actually help make the problems they deal with any better. It's despicable, and he's nothing more than a dirty old man manipulating a teenage girl. Ever's weakness is discernment, so she falls for it and turns away the guy that actually cares about her. It's the worst kind of love triangle. Even Twilight, yes, I'm going to say this, even Twilight manages this better. At least in that story, Bella had a choice between people who genuinely cared about her and took her thoughts and feelings into account on most occasions. Both Edward and Jacob were looking out for Bella's best interests more often than not. Even though both of them made some stupid decisions on the road toward doing that, Bella could rely on both of them, and that's what made choosing between them so difficult for her. She loved both of them, and they loved her enough to die for her if necessary. I really don't see Damon ever sacrificing what he wants for the benefit of someone else. Ever was right to say that Damon can't save her. He never did save her. He condemned her to a life where she has to say goodbye to everything she loves at one point or another. I think the main reason that she is so desperate to get that antidote from Roman is because she already knows the attraction between her and Damon is all they have, and for some reason Ever thinks Damon is perfect. She feels like she can't get anyone better, and it's an awful thing to see with this character. Damon has emotionally manipulated Ever to a point of no return. He's going to turn her into another Drina. Of that much, I am certain. Moving on from that, I will briefly touch on Roman's involvement in this book. I used to like seeing him, but in this book, I dreaded his scenes. This is mainly due to Ever's unnatural obsession with him. So the scenes with the two of them together are just plain awkward most of the time. There's not much else I can really say about him or the scenes. But seriously, it's pretty bad. And the worst part is that once Ever actually convinces Roman to help her out and stop being a butt, well, he ends up getting killed anyway. So the one interesting character that you had in this story is now gone. The only thing I can say in response to Roman's death is just, bravo. Really. Great. No sarcasm here. None at all. Phew. So I think I've ranted about the negative things enough. Let's talk about the few positive things that Dark Flame has to offer. First, Ava shares some nice words of wisdom near the end of the story. Mainly, she talks about how Ever needs to spend more time focusing on the positive aspects of her life and to stop giving Roman control over her. I only wish Ava would have said for Ever to stop giving Damon control of her life too, but, well, beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. Otherwise, though, Ava is still mostly okay in my book. She's been there to guide Ever in one form or another, and even though she messed that up for a time, Ava takes ownership of her mistakes and does the best she can to make things right. The other thing that is good about this book is, well, characters Rami and Rain. They aren't as present in this book, but I still find them to be likable characters. And well, that's it. I know, it's sad, isn't it? I hate it when this happens. I would rather a book be fantastic and have too many good things to say than to have all the negative points and only like a couple positive. It's just, it doesn't make me happy. I'm kind of sad. So to wrap all this up, my overall thoughts are as follows. While the previous 3 books offered something I could enjoy even with the underlying issues, Dark Flame brought them all to the surface. At the end of this book, I just felt awful, and if it weren't for the fact that I committed to reviewing this entire series, I would have stopped at Dark Flame. While I'm sure there are people out there who can really enjoy this book, I will no longer be one of them. After reading this, well, to be frank, horrific story, I made a wish on a star for the next book to be better. And you know what? It was. Next time, we'll be talking about Nightstar, the book that saved this series from being tossed out a window. Because, oh my goodness, I want to toss Dark Flame out a window and burn it, but I would not do that to a book because that's just kind of rude. And well, I mean, I wouldn't want anyone to do that to my book if I wrote a book one day. So, for pure respect for the craft, I would not destroy Dark Flame, but. So if you guys enjoy this review series, be sure to like this video, and also, if this is your first time here, well, you got acquainted with me ranting like a crazy lady, but if it's your first time here and you liked what you saw, be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications so that you will not miss the next review, because it's gonna be good, because I have mostly positive things to say about Nightstar and I am so excited. So, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Leave your comments in the comment section below, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye!